What is up, YouTube? Right now, it's May 5th, 4:46 in the morning. Happy beginning of May. And this is part 2 of T-21 weeks out. I owe you guys a YouTube video because I wasn't able to film part 2 of T-21 weeks out last week because I've been doing a lot of housework and prepping for our family to come in next week. So, with that being said, this is part 2 of T-21 weeks out. I know I'm a YouTube video behind, but you guys are going to be getting triple, maybe even quadruple the amount of uploads as far as long form video wise goes, because next week we're going to have family in town. So, I am doing my best to stay as consistent as possible, and we are showing up, and I am not letting fatigue or laziness or whatever other word is the same as those creep in, and we are staying consistent. So again, I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Again, it is part 2, T-21 weeks out from Ironman 70.3, Augusta, Georgia. And we've got to swim. Last night, found out my camera was dead, so I charged my camera, but also forgot to charge my watch. So I'm going to be going purely off of memory on this swim. So that's okay. I've got a few things to drop off at the dump before I go to the gym, and I want to take you guys through this morning workout. I think with today being a week late from T-21 weeks out, I'm also going to be filming part 1 of T-20 weeks out, because I am officially 20 weeks away. It's just that I didn't upload that second YouTube video last week, so I'll be double uploading today. So yeah, along with coming back, logging on for work, doing all the fun jazz. So we're going to make it work, and we are going to stay consistent no matter what. So with that being said, I will stop yapping and start yapping again in the car. It is 4:48 a.m. and I will see y'all when I am on the road to the gym after I stop by the dump. So let's do it. What is up, YouTube? Oh, camera's about to fall. And just like that, we are headed to the gym. It is exactly 5 a.m. on the dot. And we're going. So, I think what has gone on in the last couple days, well, you've been watching my TikToks and my YouTube shorts. It's all pretty much been the same thing. What do we always say? Rinse and repeat. It's not pretty, but it's something. It's consistency, and that is what we are doing this morning. And what's been going on in the last literally whole week/weekend, we've been planning and working on a lot of house stuff, like I was saying earlier this morning, to prep for when family comes in next week. So over the weekend, I built a bed frame, I built a vanity desk thing, worked on the backyard on top of training. So there wasn't much to talk about there because it was a lot of building stuff, non-training related, but I might as well talk about it because it did take up the entire weekend / end of last week, on top of work and life. But we're showing up, we're staying consistent, and we're doing it. So that was a sum of the second part of last week / this past weekend. And I'm a little frustrated that my watch is dead. I didn't take the time to charge it. Just because I swear every time I go into the office, those days are so long. Man. My body's just shot in the afternoon / evening when I get home. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Ironman training and what I'm learning and how we're doing it. So, back on topic, related to Ironman training. What am I doing? I am still sticking to swimming 2 to 3 times a week. I haven't biked in a while, mainly because the weather's been pretty bad and I don't have a stationary yet. On top of that, I'm just been running a little bit too, but not as much as swimming. I think with how hectic the last week or so has been, I have mainly been focused on trying to stay consistent with the swimming. And that's about it. I think something that's getting me through all of this is the obsession of staying consistent. No matter how I feel, no matter what I'm talking about in these long form YouTube videos. Just, that's all I really know how to do, is just to stay consistent no matter what. And I know I have been consistent with the swimming, and it's been harder for me to get more consistent with the running and biking. And I've just been training weights in the morning, but when I train weights, it's a lot easier for my schedule for when I do go to work, because it's closer. I have to metro into work, take the train to go to work. I'm not trying to make that an excuse, but it's the only way I'm able to get, that weightlifting session in, is at the gym closer to where I get onto the train to go to work. So I think it's just a lot harder to balance all this when it comes to going to work every other day. And majority of the time I'm able to even film is, or 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time I'm able to film is on my remote days. And granted, I still have to film extremely early if I want to be able to get it in. And that's at this point it's 5 a.m. So that's a little bit of what's going on in my head as I'm trying to balance all this and stay consistent. And man, it doesn't get easier. But it might not get easier, but hey, we get used to it over time, right? I think you just get used to doing so many uncomfortable things that when something else uncomfortable presents itself to you, you kind of just write it off and move on. I think that might end up being one of the topics for this morning. I sort of rant about. I just got to the gym, so I might as well settle and get in there. But before I do, I guess just, talk on some of the things that have motivated me in the last week or so. And that's just to not only stay extremely consistent, but doing things that just make you uncomfortable. And I know that that's going to be something that ultimately leads to growth. And you got to grow through what you go through. And that's something that my girlfriend has said a long time ago, and I ride off of that a lot of the times that I do things that make me feel uncomfortable. I don't think I feel uncomfortable talking to the camera anymore, which I feel just fine about doing. just because I hope that these videos help somebody out there that's trying to balance training and life and, you know, trying to work on staying consistent and stuff. So I think these long form YouTube videos, seeing it as a digital diary to myself and seeing it as a message to people out there that are trying to stay consistent with something or just learn the art of consistency. I think it takes a lot for sure, especially if you're trying to balance life. But at the same time, when you're trying to balance consistency, you're going to be hit with a lot of things that test that consistency, right? So a lot of things that put a lot of pressure on you, like handling adult stuff. I'm 27 now, so we've got a house, we've got a backyard, we've got 2 dogs, we've got jobs, like 90% of the population. But I think that the majority of people struggle with consistency because of all those outside factors that are challenging and that test the, I guess, discipline that you've set for yourself. I mean, a lot of the times people will work out in the morning or in the afternoon, and that's it, right? And that is enough, you know? People can work out, and that is enough. But when you're trying to balance working out and filming yourself, trying to film for a community, and balancing, you know, everything else in between, it can be challenging. And that is something that, so if you're trying to especially stay consistent in other areas of just working out, that's how I can kind of relate it. So if anyone out there is being tested, you know, keep going. That discomfort is only going to lead to more growth. And I've seen that in myself. And staying consistent no matter what has taught me extreme discipline and being okay with doing things that make you feel uncomfortable. So the fact that I'm not uncomfortable talking to the camera, but uncomfortable when outside factors make me cause me to not film, and I have to, you know, keep up and put in the work to be able to stay consistent, that is the kind of stuff that I enjoy. I think outside of the working out, I enjoy working out too, but at the same time, I enjoy being able to balance all this in a way. I like the pressure it kind of makes me feel and the fire it lights under me. So, yeah, I think with that, it is 5:10 on the dot. We are at the gym. Again, I don't have my watch, and that's all right. But part 2 of T-21 weeks out, I'm making up my YouTube video, my long form YouTube video for you guys, for myself, for the community. And I'm going to come back this afternoon for another training session, record that, and talk to the camera for my second session / second video today. So that's enough yapping. I'm going to get in there. I think the last couple swim sessions, actually, it's been pretty crowded. It's gotten pretty crowded pretty quick, and I want to focus more on my training. And it's harder to film that when you're sharing a lap pool with 3 other people. So I'm going to get in there. I'm going to focus more on my training and, you know, talk about my experience and what I learned after, especially because I don't have my watch. Man, I'm frustrated that I don't have my watch. First training session without it, so I really am going in raw. And I will debrief after my training session. If there's not a lot of people in there, maybe I might film myself, you know, swim like a couple sets. But at the same time, I don't want to rely mainly on this. I'll probably record a little bit on my phone, but I mainly want to record my form. And when I'm in the pool now, I feel like I'm trying to take more advantage of the time I have in there rather than just trying to get a quick clip, And I think that is something that is really important that I've noticed since I've started swimming, and it's to take advantage of the time that I have in there and the time that I do have related to that being my free time. I don't want to, it's more or less about the clip, and more about the training. So I'm going to get in there and get started, and then we will get right to it. And if I don't have any film from, the pool, then I'll debrief back in the car. But let's get right to it. So I'll see y'all. What is up, YouTube? Training session done and dusted. That session was about 47 minutes long, and it is 6:39 on the dot. I'll be honest, I almost capped out at 30 minutes in the session. But then this person started ripping next to me. This chick was going crazy. Not as crazy as the other person that I had seen about a week ago, but she gave me something to work on, which I am very appreciative of. And I almost was like, thank you for showing me. Because when I saw her swimming, she was lifting her neck extremely high. She was going head down, form. It was probably after every 2 strokes. She was going big deep breath and lifting her head very high every 2 strokes. And I wanted to try it, and I started ripping, and I was having fun doing it. But yeah, honestly, I lost count after about 300 meters is when I started to lose count. And I think I got a clip of my first or second set, and I'm really starting to really get the hang of it, I think. I think I'm getting the hang of it. But more importantly, I have something to work on, and it's definitely my breathing. I think if you guys end up seeing, I filmed another clip or 2 on my phone, so you guys will see that on my YouTube Shorts if you do decide to watch that today. Again, I post on YouTube Shorts about 7 days a week. No, not about, but I post there 7 days a week. Literally what my morning routine is. Just, it's always early, so hopefully that provides some inspiration to someone that's getting up early. But back to the topic of swimming. Man, that was fun. I did get more motivation after seeing how she was swimming, because I mean, with my goggles it's really foggy, with them on, right? So when I was going, I just seen her ripping, and I was like, let me see if she's doing something different that I could work on. And I saw that she was lifting her head extremely high, or a lot higher than I thought, but she was also staying flat inside of the pool. So I found that very interesting, and that form was filthy. So now I know what to work on for the next one. And so yeah, I kind of forgot what I was talking about this morning. It might have been related, I think it was related to staying consistent, and how that's kind of all I really know how to do. I think with going this early in the morning and getting it all done is definitely going to help in the long run. And I think earlier this morning I was talking about being comfortable with discomfort. And I'm not going to lie and say that what I'm doing right now is comfortable. It definitely is not comfortable. But at the same time, I'm kind of leaving it all on the table in the morning related to training. I would say that I'm not leaving anything on the table when I'm training in these early sessions, because when I was going down and back, I think down and back is 50 meters in the lap pool that I swim in. And it gets to the point to where I can only go about, a lap and a half, not even. And so I'm definitely pushing the limits of my body. I think it's just gonna take time, just like I say in every morning video. So yeah, I think that's a wrap on session number 1, about little over a 45-minute swim. I would bank that I swim about 700 to 800 meters this morning. Definitely tough for 46 minutes, but at the same time, I'm also getting the hang of and training my body to just keep swimming. Literally, that quote from Nemo, just keep swimming. It was good because what I found interesting in the beginning was that my legs, especially my quads and my hamstring, like my entire leg, was tight, extremely tight, crazy tight. And I did a little bit of stretching in the beginning, but as I progressed in my sets, as I went up in sets every time, and as I started to get used to my legs being tight, and it was almost like my legs broke in and then they were really warm. Or like I broke my legs in, meaning I got them warm enough and my body was already pretty warm inside of the water, so I was able to just go and just rip. So I think that's definitely another thing that I learned from this session, is that to expect the legs to get tight for sure, but not to panic under that pressure. Another thing I learned this morning was to keep breathing. I think that last swim session, I was holding my breath and going in and out of breathing, holding my breath, breathing, holding my breath. And I think I need to just keep breathing, almost as if you're running, right? When you're running, you're not holding your breath. But when you're swimming, I think I just need to breathe out, and then breathe in every stroke or two. And when I started to pick up on that form that one lady was doing in the water, where she was breathing a big breath of air, she was breathing in every 2 strokes, which was a lot faster than what I had been training with. I had been training to breathe in out of the water every 3 strokes. Maybe you just have to find that rhythm for you, but I found that I found myself more in flow. I found myself more in a flow type of state after taking a deep breath after 2 strokes. So, 2 strokes, for people not familiar with it, is just 2 literal strokes. And it's definitely a lot faster of a breathing technique, but I did feel a lot better after doing 25 meters than I did in the beginning, and I felt like I had more control. And I was already about, which is kind of crazy, I was already about 35 minutes into the session when I saw her doing that and realized that I wanted to try it. And when I tried it, it was already like 40 minutes in. And I mean, as much as I want to spend a lot of time in the pool, I have to get home and settle in for work because it's already almost 7 o'clock. So yeah, I found that so interesting, that just like running and just like lifting weights, just like riding on the bike, you're not holding your breath. So if you're not holding your breath, it's better to, practice a breathing routine for being in the pool. I could be wrong, so if I'm completely off or completely wrong, please let me know in the comments. But I've found that to be something that I want to work on, because you're constantly breathing at that point. You're constantly breathing in and out. You're not holding your breath. You're able to pace, and it's a different level of pacing. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Because once I figured that out, I almost wanted to keep working on it and keep ripping, and then 40 minutes passes by, I'm like, I gotta go. I need to wrap it up. And then I think I did another set or 2, and then I, dried up, and now I'm almost home. So, yeah, lesson learned. It's okay to breathe and to work on that kind of technique. And I am excited to work on that this upcoming Thursday. And I almost want to go back to the pool. I'm also looking forward to going back to the pool, because that was actually fun. More fun towards the end, because I found something that I could work on instead of just ripping, 50 meters. And after looking at the clip of myself doing it, my head pops up so much more than it should. So I definitely have work to do there. But then again, another session down, definitely more than 700 meters this morning. So I'll track that. Even without a watch, I did it all raw. So I'm very proud of myself for that, and I'm about to get back to the house. So I just got home, and now that I'm home, I'm gonna settle. And since it's 6:51, I might end up taking my dogs out for a walk this morning, because they have been posted up all week. Mainly because we've been pretty busy with school and work, so. But yeah, okay. Well, I am back home, and I'm gonna get in, settle, take my dogs on a walk, and I'm gonna wrap up this video, because this is part 2 of T-21 weeks out. I'm a couple days late, I know, but giving you guys the full experience of making up for and staying consistent no matter what. T-21 weeks done and dusted, wrapped up, and I'm gonna come back this afternoon for video number 1 of T-20 weeks out, because we are officially 20 weeks away from Ironman 70.3, Augusta, Georgia. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up with these videos. I'm staying consistent, and we just hit 50 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you guys for following the journey, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Again, I still have so much fun doing this. There's no better feeling to do this and have it still be extremely early in the morning. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel, if you could leave a like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and leave a tip for your boy. And I will see y'all in literally a couple hours, but it'll be a second long form YouTube video. So we're keeping up, we're catching up, keeping up, staying consistent, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So I'll see you later. Peace.